Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there? Or struggled to follow a conversation, not because it was complicated, but because your mind just felt cloudy? Many people call this mental fog. They assume it's stress, aging, or a lack of sleep. But what if I told you there's a hidden connection most people never consider, one that links mental fog and hearing health? Here's the surprising part. For many adults, mental fog doesn't start in the brain. It starts with the ears. Think about it. Your brain is constantly processing sound, voices, background noise, subtle cues that help you stay oriented and alert. When your hearing isn't as sharp as it used to be, even in small ways you might not consciously notice, your brain has to work overtime just to keep up. That extra effort quietly drains your mental energy. Over time, that constant strain can show up as poor focus, forgetfulness, and that frustrating feeling of mental cloudiness. And this isn't rare. It's happening to millions of people right now without them realizing what's really going on. Let's break this down. When hearing starts to decline, the brain doesn't simply give up. Instead, it compensates. It reallocates resources that would normally be used for memory, clarity, and higher-level thinking, and diverts them to decoding sound. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle while someone keeps turning the lights down. You can still do it, but it takes more effort, more concentration, and a lot more energy. Over time, that constant compensation leads to mental fatigue. Conversations feel draining. Multitasking becomes harder. You may notice you're more irritable, less sharp, or mentally exhausted by the end of the day, even if you didn't do anything particularly demanding. This is one of the reasons people often say, "I just don't feel as sharp as I used to," without realizing their hearing could be part of the problem. There's also a strong emotional layer to this. When hearing isn't optimal, people tend to withdraw socially without meaning to. You might avoid noisy environments. You might nod along instead of asking someone to repeat themselves. You might feel a subtle anxiety about missing something important. All of this adds mental stress, and stress is a major contributor to brain fog. Now here's the key insight most people miss. Supporting your hearing isn't just about sound, it's about protecting your brain. Healthy hearing supports clear communication between the ears and the brain. It helps reduce unnecessary cognitive strain, and when that strain goes down, mental clarity often improves as a natural result. This is why so many researchers and health experts are looking at hearing health as the foundation for overall cognitive well-being, not just something you worry about when you're much older. The good news is you don't have to wait until hearing loss becomes severe or disruptive to take action. In fact, the earlier you support your hearing health, the better the long-term outcome tends to be. And support doesn't have to mean invasive solutions or drastic measures. Many people are now focusing on gentle, daily habits that nourish the ears and the brain at the same time. Things like supporting healthy blood flow to the inner ear, reducing oxidative stress, calming the nervous system, and providing nutrients that help maintain the delicate pathways between hearing and cognition. When those systems are supported, people often report feeling more mentally present, more focused, and less mentally drained by everyday interactions. Think about how different life feels when your mind is clear. Conversations flow more easily. Reading and focusing take less effort. You feel more confident, more engaged, and more in control of your day. That's the real cost of mental fog, not just forgetfulness, but the quiet loss of confidence and ease that comes with mental sharpness. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, "This sounds familiar," you're not alone. And the most important thing to understand is this: mental fog is not something you should just accept as normal. Your brain and your hearing are deeply connected. When you support one, you often help the other. That's why so many people are starting to look into natural ways to support their hearing as part of a broader brain health routine. Not as a cure, not as a miracle, but as a smart, proactive step towards protecting clarity, focus, and quality of life. If you're curious to learn more about how people are supporting their hearing and cognitive clarity naturally, there's a resource linked below that explains this approach in more detail. It walks through the ingredients, the thinking behind the formula, and why so many adults are choosing to support their hearing before problems become harder to reverse. You don't have to decide anything right now. Just take a look, educate yourself, and see if it makes sense for you. Supporting your hearing today could be one of the simplest ways to protect your mental clarity for years to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.